I had a relationship with Dirk Management, his brother Thang, Chino, SP early on. One of the memorable moments I can think of with Chino and Thang, rest in peace to both of them. They called me on the phone, and they said they had a female artist that they wanted me to hear, that wanted to talk to me, that they said that I would listen to, and it was Got Bandz. And they called me shortly after that conversation, and they said, "Big bro, we just playing with you, man." They said, we just playing with you. Then shortly after that, they saying that I signed Katie. And they saying a single come out, and they just couldn't stop laughing, saying, man, you just serious. You wasn't playing. Like, we was playing, but you wasn't. Them guys was hungry for knowledge. That's what I appreciated from the guys, was hungry for knowledge, and they was ready to group together, go hard to get things going. So I talked to them early on and mentored them. I got a wild studio story. It's really not wild, kind of typical now when you hear studio stories. I was called to work with an artist, to basically move an artist around, when they got to Chicago, through Atlantic Records. Jeff Vaughn, shout out Jeff, called me up. I told him I would do it, and so I got with his management. I talked to his management. I talked to his day-to-day, his assistant at the time. They needed to record a feature. I was moving around doing some work. I had an office downtown Chicago, so I was leaving my office, and I set them up to do the feature. Went through the studio where they was doing the feature. It came in, and it was Kevin Gates. So he asked me to meet his assistant, which was Drika. I'd been talking on the phone to her for a while, and I hadn't met her, so we went to meet Drika, so we stepped out back to meet her. As we stepped out back, we talking, and the police pull up through the alley, jump out boys, Chicago style. Pull up, jump right out, the guns up. So I'm pretty sure, I don't know if Kevin was used to Chicago jump out boys, but yeah, they jump out with them guns, run right up on you, and then they ask you, for your ID and what's your name. So yeah, that was a crazy night. We both end up getting locked up for gun cases. Actually, I can speak about it now. They're both behind, both of us at this point. Here's a wild tour story with Got Bandz. Katie, Indiana, at a club, her being underage, under 21, doing a club where they had liquor at. I set everything up with the promoter. We standing outside, lined everybody up to go in. The promoter walked off to make sure things was cool. When the promoter walked off, women just would have it in for Katie for whatever reason. Someone wouldn't just like her for whatever reason. They just wouldn't, and they just take it personal. So a female security guard decided to take it personal today, and asked for her ID, and I let her know that she was performing, and she didn't care. She said she didn't care who was performing. She didn't care about the promoter. She don't work for them. She worked for the club, and she said, matter of fact, officer, get him away from me. And the police officer went to grab me. As he go to grab me, I'm tussling with him like I couldn't believe it. I was in disbelief, so I'm like, I couldn't believe this guy trying to grab me. So he's tussling with me. I got guys with me. I tell one of the guys, hold my Rolex. I take my watch out, give it to him. I tell him, hold my bag. Gave him my bag. This guy's still tussling with me, trying to get me down. Then he sprays me with mace, pepper spray. And my adrenaline was going so much, the pepper spray didn't do anything to me. He just closed my eyes and opened my eyes and looked at him and said, man, are you serious? By this time his backup came, struggle got me to the car, and I actually caught a case in Indiana and had to go to court. Resisting arrest, attempt to intimidate or threaten a police officer, battery to a police officer, Real case. Yeah. Of course, I want to fight him when I got to the station, you know, so I probably added to it. I asked if we can go on the sale. I have some money on me, ask if I can pay a couple officers to let us go on the sale and dance. They had took my shoelaces and everything out anyway, so, you know. Here's a wild tour story on tour with King Louie, Texas. We did a strip club run, so we went to a bunch of different strip clubs and did a strip club tour run, basically. You know, the artist was all secured, and it was me and Abe Givens, shout out Abe. He's over there, Viola, kicking ass right now too. Me and him standing out the, you know, tour bus in the parking lot. Some guys pull up, they say, you know, don't be no lick, bruh. We listening, looking at each other. He say, don't be no lick, bruh. I look close when the guy's got a gun in his hand. So Abe yell out, man, you won't be no lick, bruh. You know, hey, get the K. So I'm like, okay, standing there. Like it's going down. We got a K. They know what it is. The guy say, don't be no lick, bruh. Pow, shoot the gun off in the air and pull off. Skirt off. So I'm like, hey, where the K at? Like, man, how cold you brought that K up in the tour bus? Abe say, man, I ain't got no K. I guess we bluffed our way out that situation. Yeah, that was a fun one. That was funny that night. Here's a funny night in Chicago. With P from QC called me up and I came and met him down and I met him down, you know, at the hotel, and I met with the Migos for the first time. You know, we had been talking over the phone, working some stuff out early to do some features and things. So he invited me to go with him to an after party they had at a strip club in Chicago. We get to the strip club, you know, we get in. On the way out, it's just I would say high level of security on the way out. And I'm looking like, man, we in Chicago, man. We good. I mean, it was tense. They looking like, man, we on it. We got to be on it, though. I'm like, man, we good. We okay. You know, very, very high level security, I would say. You know, very high level. I found myself getting on the alert myself, getting on security. Like, wait a minute. Hold on, we good. I had to say, I just seen everybody there. I know basically who all the stick up and robbers and crooks is in Chicago. We good. Ain't nothing following us. Like, we good.